Most of you recognize his name because of his record with the New York Giants, with whom he spent 8 glorious years beginning in 1948. Monte led the New York Giants into the World Series in 1951, hitting .312 with 24 home runs, and in 1954 batting .329 with 21 home runs. In the 51 series, he batted .458, 11 for 24. But when Monte entered the white majors, he was a 30-year-old rookie, having already acquired 11 seasons experience in the Negro Leagues with the Newark Eagles. His lifetime average in the Negro Leagues was .373, one of the highest lifetime averages ever recorded. Monte hit .395 in 41 and went on to serve 4 years in the Army, returning in 1946 to hit .394.
A measly .394. And there are some guys
amazing
in the Hall of Fame with .260 averages. That's kind of amazing, isn't it, friends? Well, he was a great all-around player in fielding, throwing, hitting, and was considered by many to have been a better choice than Jackie Robinson to be the first black man to cross the color barriers. Until recently, Monte worked for the Baseball Commissioner's Office of Public Relations. Elected to the Hall of Fame in 1973, Monte continues to serve on many committees and is also the president of the Negro League Ball Players Association, located at 425 Park Avenue, New York, 10022. The NLBPA, as they are known, has issued a series of 30 gorgeous full-color postcards depicting the Negro League stars, designed by artist Ron Lewis, and these cards are available by calling good old 212-874-3228. That's 212-874-3228. Leon Day was signing his Ron Lewis cards at City Hall Friday for his many fans. Boy, there were so many. I couldn't believe how many people were there. We have a videotape of one endless line. It was just wonderful. And he's also presented some to us as prizes for tonight's and future shows.
Welcome to 21st Century Radio's Hieronimus and Company, where knowledge comes first, Monte, and say hello to your former teammate, Leon Day, about whom you've spoken literally in glowing terms for decades. Go right ahead.
Are you there, Monte?
Are you there, Monte?
I just want to say hi to you and congratulations on a great ceremony. I understand that the city of Baltimore really turned out and really honored you, and I'm telling you, in honoring you, they couldn't have honored a finer baseball player, a finer fella, than a finer friend than anybody could possibly want. I'm just happy to have known you, I tell you, or to know you now.
Thanks for that, Monty.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's been pitching pretty good. He doesn't throw any needle balls at us yet tonight, Monty.
Good.
In your opinion, Monty, why should Leon Day be in the Hall of Fame?
Leon was one of the finest all-around ball players I've ever seen, but mainly he was just a great pitcher. When I say great pitcher, if one game you wanted to win, you wanted Leon Day out there on the mound because he was fast, he had great control, he had a big heart, and he could get the ball, over the plate, and he'd battle you all the way until the last man was out. I remember one game we were playing, and we didn't, we weren't hitting very much. So he said, just give me one run. That's all I need. So we still floundered at the plate. So he went up and hit a home run himself and won his own ball game. He said, "I'll fix you. You sucker me, Yoxie." You remember that, Lee?
Yeah. Who were you playing, Monty?
I think we were playing Baltimore Elite Giants.
Oh.
And the other thing what I liked about him so much too was the fact that he had a great pickoff move. He could spin in a half a second and pick you off first base. Had a great move, and he could really feel his position.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one time, our center fielder hurt himself, and so we didn't have anybody to put in. Leon said, "I can play it," and he went out and played center field for 4 or 5 days better than our regular center fielder. And another time, our second baseman got hurt, and he went in and played better second base than the second baseman could. He said, "I'll show you guys how to play," and he sure did. That's why I'm saying he's one of the finest all-around players I've ever seen. A lot of people talk about Martin DeHigo, for playing, different positions and pitching and hitting and all. I'll take Leon. I'll take Leon Day over anybody that I've ever seen as an all-around baseball player, and I sincerely mean that.
Now, Monte, you've played in both the Negro and White Leagues.
Yes.
Did they play the same kind of baseball?
Well, in the Negro Leagues, we had a lot of talent, but we played more individual baseball. In the Major Leagues, you played, it was a team effort. What I'm saying is, a lot of hit and runs, hit behind the runner, and, throwing to the right base and backing up to, the bases and so on. So it was the majors are a little more organized that way. But once the Negro Leaguers learned the Major League way of doing things, then, it was easy because they had the native talent. All they needed to do was just train it a little bit.
Was there a difference in terms of the challenge afforded by both leagues, meaning which one was more challenging?
Oh, well, you see, in the Negro Leagues, we didn't face a good pitcher every day. In the Major Leagues, you will. Now, you got to go out and you've got to, certain plays you've got to make every day. And if you're not, then if you don't make them, then they'll find somebody else to put out there. And until you have to play on a little more pressure, because you got a lot of people in the ballpark, and you got the writers who are looking at you every day and so on. So you want to perform well. So I would say the pressure is a little more in the Major Leagues than it was in the Negro Leagues. Negro Leagues, if you didn't make the play, then it's just I'll make it next time. But the talent was there, and once those guys became trained, it was easy, real easy.
As we noted last hour, black ball was tough. Pitchers threw at you, runners jumped on you and cut you pretty bad. Gene Benson last week told us that one of his uniforms was torn off by the cleats of a base runner.
Oh, that's true. They would spike you and go out of their way to spike you. And the pitchers, they didn't mind knocking you down. I mean, they didn't, throw just to brush your back. Sometimes they threw to, knock your brains out. So you had to kind of watch that too. In fact, what we had to do, we had to learn how to duck before we learned how to hit. That was a saying. Learn how to get out of the way of the ball. And some of those pitchers were, pretty vicious. And they threw at Willie Wells so much until he went out and found a miner's cap one day and came to the ballpark and used it in a game. I think it was that was the beginning of helmets. But it was tough like that. Some of the fields that we played on were not as good, and the treatment all around wasn't nearly as good as it was in the majors. The traveling, and of course, we had to catch a sandwich or eat, get a meal wherever we could. So it was tough like that. But again, those same guys that were played in the Negro Leagues, guys like Joe Black and Junior Gilliam and all the rest of Mays and myself and all the rest of Ernie Banks, Hank Aaron. Once we got to the majors, it became easy because we had already been through the hard knocks. Yeah, all we had to do then was just do the right thing because it was easier then because you got in a habit of playing one way, and which was the right way. It was easy.
Leon had something to say there.
Oh, mine.
Yeah.
I never threw at you, did I?
No. Just 4 or 5 times every time you faced me in Puerto Rico. And one time I asked him, I said, "Well, why are you throwing at me?" I said, "I'm only hitting 220, so I don't want you to start." True story. Yeah.
Monte.
In Aguadilla, Puerto Rico.
And of course, you probably both remember what year, what day, the time of the day.
Yeah, that's right. It was about 2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Let me ask you, there's been a lot of comparisons made between Satchel Paige and Leon Day.
Yeah.
How are these two players alike? And I'm being told we have to go to a break.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to a break, and we'll let Monty think about this one because he's probably going to have to study up on it. Right, Monty?
Okay.
You study up on that question, and we'll be right back after we sell everything we possibly can to everybody out there in Baltimore. Welcome back, friends. It's quiz time once again on 21st Century Radio. If you're the first to get through on 922-6680 with the correct answer, listen to what you're going to win. You ready for this one? All right. we're going to win a 110-card collector set of Legends of Baseball from Pacific Cards, which includes 2 Monte Irvin cards, a Hank Aaron, a Ernie Banks, a Lou Brock, a Larry Doby, a Bob Hieronimus, a Rod Carew, a Bob Gibson, and many more. An autographed copy of Leon Day's stats and bio from Todd Bolton, a Negro League Museum brochure, an Ebbets Field catalog, and a Josh Gibson card from Eclipse Books, plus a photograph of Jackie Robinson, his first day playing with the Brooklyn Dodgers, April the 10th, 1947, thanks to Lee Sherman and American Baseball Card Classic. All you have to do to win all of these prizes is answer the following question. What is remote viewing used for around the world today? Call us at 922-6680, that's WCBM 680, and tell us what are some of the uses for remote viewing, and you will win all of those prizes.
I know the answer.
Well, you don't count.
I know, I wrote the question. I hope I know the answer,
right. Okay.
but I want to win all those prizes. Monty, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Now, we asked you before the break there have been a lot of comparisons made between Satchel Paige and Leon Day. How were they both alike, and how were they different? And who, in your opinion, was a better player, and in what way?
Well, alike, I'll give you the sameness of them.
Okay.
Both of them were real good competitors. They were stingy. That meant that you didn't get many runs off them. Both of them threw very hard, and you could figure if you got 1 or 2 runs off them, then you were lucky. Leon was a much better hitter, much better fielder, and had a much better pickoff motion than Satchel. Not that Satchel wasn't didn't have a good one. You couldn't first of all you had to get on first off Satchel because he was a strikeout pitcher, and so both of them it's just a paper thin difference. In their ability. Both had played a very long time, and both of them were, just real stars in the Negro League. Now, Satchel, of course, he came up early, got a lot of publicity, and always did what he said he was going to do.
What do you mean by that?
When I say that, I mean this. He would come out sometime, or even put it in the paper sometime. He'd say, I'm going to be real stingy today. In fact, he said, I'm not giving up anything. And he went out and did that a few times, and the papers picked that up. And he almost never disappointed. He told Josh one time, he said, big man, he says, just because we play on the same team doesn't mean that, I'm not the best. I'm not the best of the best of the two of us. And Josh said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, I'm going to teach you who the boss is."
Ooh.
And he got 2 outs, bases, and walked the bases full to get to Josh, and threw him. I think he threw him 3 pitches, and so again, that proves that he was just a terrific, competitor and always did what he said. Now, on the other hand, Leon was quiet and got the job done too, So we said, Lee, how do you feel? He said, well, just give me a run, and that's all I need. That's the kind of guy he was. Mm-hmm. Quiet but very efficient, and would always get the job done for you.
Well, I can see Leon sitting here, all these thoughts going through his mind. He's smiling, but he's not saying a word.
Yeah, well, I know he's that type. He would never say, brag on himself, or he'd always let somebody else.
Did you ever sing with him?
Excuse me?
Did you ever sing with him? I hear he's a nice singing voice.
Yeah, I was a member of the quartet.
Oh yeah, who were the other members?
Well, we had Len Pearson and Len Hooker, Day and myself.
Do you have any recordings of the time?
No, but we could sing, I tell you.
Hey, maybe we can engage you two right now. I said to Leon, let's hear you sing.
Yeah, we can sing it. Our favorite song was I Had a Dream, Dear.
Hey, can you sing it? Come on, Leon.
I had a dream, dear. You had one too,
Uh-huh.
And I tell you, we'd sing that
Todd
song.
knows that song. Todd, you know that song? Come on, sing with Monty. One round.
Get Leon in there. He needs to.
Yeah, Lee.
No, my voice is gone.
I tell you, we'll when I come up there in April, we'll sing it for you.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Good.
I'd love that.
Good. We'll have everyone on the radio, and we'll all sing it together. Friends, yes, we will open the lines. 922-6680, that's WCBM 680. If you want to give us a call and ask some questions of some real great players, including myself, because I batted 402 in the Little Leagues.
It gets a little more every time you say it, right, dear?
It was 402. All right, so it was 3 at-bats.
In your mind.
Something like that.
Let me ask you, Monty, when did Cooperstown Hall of Fame in New York finally begin admitting Negro League players?
1971. Satchel Paige was the first.
And who else has been admitted so far?
Well, you got Josh
Gibson.
Buck Leonard, Cool Papa Bell.
He's the guy that said Day had smoke.
Yeah, that's right. You got Oscar Charleston. You got John Henry Lloyd. You got the great Cuban player Martin de Higo, Ray Danders, and myself. That were voted in from the Negro League.
And Judy Johnson.
And Judy Johnson, yeah.
Oh,
Rube Foster.
Yeah. Rube Foster.
And Rube Foster, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can't forget Rube Foster. All right, that's for
Yeah.
sure. As a matter of fact, we touched on Rube Foster last hour.
Did you?
Yeah. He stopped in to say hello.
Right. Yeah, tell me he was some kind of pitcher and, just a great manager.
Indeed.
He did his own publicity.
Well, I'm telling you, some of the publicity that we could learn a few things these days about the kind of publicity that was done in the Negro Leagues. I love those poles, those lights that the Kansas City Monarchs put together, but it could only be 15 feet up, right?
Yes, right.
They didn't have interconnecting poles at that time.
Yeah.
Something to that effect.
Monty, before we ask you some other specifics about the leagues and the Hall of Fame, we asked Leon what was his most memorable memory. I guess you don't say that, do you?
That's
Just
good
his
enough.
greatest memory in baseball. How about for yourself? What's the most wonderful thing you remember about the game?
Well, you mean in the Negro League?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess when we won the championship in 1946, that was just a terrific feat for us because I think it was the first time we've been the world champions, and we beat the Kansas City Monarchs that year. And we only got I think 2 hits, but scored 3 runs. I think we beat them 3-2. That was just a great thrill because the first time we'd ever done it.
We do not have a winner on that question. I can't believe this. We do not have a winner on that last question. And we got so many prizes to give away that I want to make sure that someone wins all of these. And here it goes. Oops, all answers have been guesses. Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, here's the question one more time. What is remote viewing used for around the world today? Remote viewing is something... Nope, it's not with satellites. About 10 callers.
Well, we can give them a hint, at least tell them how remote viewing is done. It uses the human mind.
Oh, yes, it uses the human mind, not satellites or anything like that. And there's about 6 different prizes up for grabs. I'm not going to repeat them all. The number's 922-6680. That's WCBM 680. Now, Leon, we also touched, Monty, we touched on something else that was important concerning the Hall of Fame and how black players are admitted. Todd Bolton touched on it, but I'd like to get into that again because we always have new listeners during the second hour. How are black players admitted to the Hall of Fame? Could you explain what this procedure is?
You mean the ones that are playing in the Negro League?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, we got the Veterans Committee. You see, used to have what they call a Hall of Fame Committee for Negro, for the Negro Leagues. But that committee was disbanded, and the duties were taken over by the Veterans Committee. Now, we're going to meet on the 17th there's 17 members, on the 17th of March.
Oh, March.
In Tampa. And each person eligible, and Leon is one of them. And of course, we're hopeful that we'll be able to get him in. We came close last year, and we hope to get the job fully done this year. Each person is discussed around the table by each person, by each member, and you can say whatever you want about the player that's in contention. And the thing about it, most of the time, see, it's only Roy Campanella, Buck O'Neill, and myself. We're the only ones that are able to talk about Leon, you see. And, of course, we're unanimous in our praise for him, and we hope to, to be able to get, I think it's get the 14 out of the 17 votes in order to do it. So we're very hopeful for this year.
Well,
but his name will be prominently displayed and discussed.
Well, I don't want to get into politics or anything, but do you think that the procedure is a fair and just one?
Well, I don't know whether it's the fairest way to do it. I think probably the way that we, did it at the beginning was, to have the Hall of Fame Committee for Negro Leagues. I think was probably the best way. That's because all those men that were on that committee had seen most of the Hall of Famers, the potential Hall of Famers play, knew their records, and see, you have to go a lot on hearsay because there's no records. That makes it very, very difficult.
Yeah.
So, but we make sure that that everything to be known is known, and then it's up to the other members of the committee to go along with it. That's what it boils down to.
Well, in the case of Leon Day, how can we and our listeners support his candidacy? Is there anything we really can do?
Well, you can write to the Hall of Fame members on the Veterans Committee and send them brochures and write-ups, and the thing that you did a couple of days ago, honoring Leon in Baltimore, and Todd Bolton put together some statistics and some literature, some information about how great he was, and then with our, being there to sanction it, this is the best way to do it.
Well, we're certainly going to submit everything that we have, but we still have a lot more stuff to come yet. We can't wait.
Well, that's fine, Bob. Keep doing it, would you?
Yeah, well, indeed, we're going to keep doing it. As long as we can stay on the air, we're going to keep doing it.
We need all the help that we can get.
Well, so when we gather our information, do we send it to each one of the members on the committee?
Yeah, you can send it to...
and that's 17 of them?
Yeah, you can send it to Ed Stack up there at the Hall of Fame, and then he'll distribute it to the...
All right. Well, we'll put together 17 videos and 17 everything else's and send them on up to Ed Stack, because they really should take a look at what's going on down here in Baltimore. And we just can't wait to wait until we see exactly what the governor's going to be doing for Leon Day in the state of Maryland, not just the city of Baltimore. And
that's terrific. I think that's so good.
Well, it's so good to be able to do this kind of thing. It makes us all feel like we're doing something, rectifying an injustice that really is very long and standing. Could you name some other black ball players who also deserve the Hall of Fame honor?
Well, the first one, of course, that comes to mind is Willie Wells. Never a better shortstop ever lived than Willie Wells.
Why is that?
Because he's like a cat, and he was a great fielder, great going back on the ball, and he was a good hitter. He would have hit about 325, 330 in the major league, but his fielding is what was so terrific. I saw Josh knock him down with the ball one time, and he got up and threw him out. That's how hard the ball was hit. Mm-hmm. And he'd come out of nowhere and catch a ball and throw you out. He was unbelievable. Then again, a pitcher by the name of Raymond Brown was terrific. He could, it's like Leon. He could pitch, and then he could hit, play
Who did he
outfield.
play for?
Yeah, he's a great ball player. Then you had Turkey Stearns. He was a terrific outfielder, run like a deer, and great power, and just a great ball player. Then you got Mule Suttles. He, big first baseman. We used to call him the Babe Ruth of, he was a great curveball hitter and unbelievable power. A lot of the White Stars used to ask me, about Mule. Asked me, if I knew him. I told him when I broke in, he was on the club. And then you got Smokey Joe Williams.
Oh.
Another one. He was very fast, and he was he was the black Walter Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a great pitcher. And then there's some others.
Sounds like you got dozens of them that belong in the Hall of Fame.
You got maybe 15 guys that really I'm talking about truly great stars. Sandtop, the catcher, was like Josh. He could hit, he could throw, and he was big and rugged. Played for a long time. And then there was Biz Mackey, the fellow who taught Roy Campanella how to. He used to play there with the Baltimore Black Sox, and he played with the Hilldales, and he managed there and managed the Elites. Taught Campy all that he knew about catching, and that's why Campy got off to such a great start, because he had a great teacher at Biz.
Mm-hmm.
And Dick Lundy. You can just keep naming them on and on. If these men, not that today's players are not great, but I'm talking about these men we're talking about were truly superstars who enjoyed playing because you had to love it because they didn't make much money, and they did it for the love of the game and to please themselves and please the fans.
Mm-hmm. Well, they certainly did that. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah,
and,
unbelievable.
Well, I'm just so sorry I didn't get a chance to see all those great players play. Was the Willie
Wells?
Willie Wells, was he the bow-legged?
Yeah.
And so was Dandy?
Yeah, and both he and Dandridge. Dandridge was quite bow-legged, but Wells not as much. But and both of them were about 5'9", 5'10", but could they play? It was like we had a dream infield.
Yeah, that was
you could hardly shoot a ball through there with the infield that we had.
They called it the $1 Million infield?
Yeah, it was terrific.
Who was part of that infield before we take our break?
Well, you got Dick C, S-E-A-Y,
yeah,
and Mule Suttles. And then after Mule got old and retired, and they had Len Pearson, who was couldn't hit like Mule, but he, much better fielder.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific infield. Then we had a guy by the name of Leon Ruffin catching, who, just like Campy, had a great arm, quick release, and threw strikes to second, to all the bases.
Who was that one player that had a rocking chair, the catcher that...
That was Pepper Bassett.
Why was he in the rocking chair?
Well, that was part of his flair. He'd do that to attract, attention to the fans, and they come out to see him do that. And, he'd sit back in there and then throw a strike, catch the ball, and then throw a strike to second base.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They did all kinds of promotion to get people to come out. Then they used to play that shadow ball. You take infield practice with no baseball, and that was something to behold.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then they played pepper. Some of the guys would keep every time you hit the ball to them, they'd keep the ball for about 30 seconds, just fooling around with it. It had all kind rolling over on their heads, behind their backs, and then flip it over to the next guy. So they did all that to attract people, and people used to flock to see them.
Wow. Well, we're going to need to take a pause here, and when we come back, we've got a big question, and no one won that last one. I can't believe it. All those calls, and nobody hit it on the head. Well, that's tough. That's the way it goes, friends. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be talking some more with Monte Irvin, Leon Day, Todd Bolton, Lee Sherman, Dr. Bob, Geraldine, and everybody else that's in the studio that's hanging around, okay? All right, we'll be back, and we'll invite your calls, especially Mike Rosen and Dr. Bob Leffler. If you've been waiting to call in, you can do it now at 922-6680. That's WCBM 680. Now, Todd brought up something that was very important, and we wanted to mention that. Todd, what were we saying in that break there?
Monty, you had mentioned earlier about the difference between the Negro Leagues and Major League play, and saying that day after day you didn't always face the best pitching. And I was just pointing out to Bob that, of course, in the Negro Leagues there were only 60 to 80 league games per year. And on the off days, you all were playing, picking up semi-pro games wherever you could.
Yeah.
And that your statement was not a negative statement regarding Negro League pitching. It was regarding the fact that you didn't have league competition day after day like you did in the major leagues.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's a good thing we clarified that.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you have anything else to add there on that one, Monty?
Well, no, I think Todd he explained it perfectly. But some of the semi-pro teams had real good pitchers, and and against us, they would throw the best that they had. It's the black-white situation. They always try to beat the white team try to beat the black team and vice versa. So it was like a natural rivalry kind of a situation.
Monty, could you get a little closer to your microphone there?
Yeah, okay, how's that?
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah, now we can hear you. Now we can even hear you sing a little bit better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, all right. Before this hour closes there, and boy, every line is lit up there, and they're all trying desperately to win that prize. That's the way it goes. You think they're going to win it, Leon?
Oh, yeah, somebody will win it.
You think so? Well, I don't know. Sometimes our folks out there don't take enough notes, and we desperately tell them they better take notes. We tell them to keep their feet flat on the floor, eyes straight ahead, no talking, and take notes. That's how they should listen to the show. Right, Leon?
Right.
Okay. All right. Now, the NLBPA, the Negro League Baseball Players Association, what is it, Monty?
Well, it's an association that was founded by Ed Schauder and Richard Berg, and just out of because they're great fans, and Schauder, of course, is a lawyer, and Richard Berg, he writes music. Just private citizens, very interested in the Negro Leagues, and so the association was founded, and it's now we're trying to help all the members, the guys who used to play. I guess maybe 150, 200 still alive, and all of them around 65, 70, 80, 90 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've become the president, try to help out a little bit, get a little publicity and raise some money for them. And we're doing a pretty good job. We're also receiving a lot of help from BAT. That's the Baseball Assistance Team. That's headed by Ralph Branca and Joe Garagiola. They've given us a lot of help, and they've helped a lot of the players too. I'm talking about players who didn't have any health care. Some of the guys who never made very much money, they need some help. So they're being helped, and we hope to give them some more help by all the things that's being done. And Bob, let me just say this.
Yes, sir.
By your pitching in and helping, and of course Todd, he's been doing been helping for so many years now. This all gives the fellows in the league some publicity, and now we funds have started to come in, and we're very appreciative of what you're doing, and I just want you to thank you, and by telling you this.
Well, that's very kind of you, but really, it's a great joy for us to do this. It really is. I'm just very happy that Zoe and I are on the air and can talk about this material, because unfortunately, I don't know why other talk show hosts and other people within the media don't pay attention to this. It's very short-sighted of them, maybe because they just, their backgrounds are too limited. Now, by the way, friends, let's go to what we think is our winner on line 3, and then we'll get to some of our other callers. Let's go to Louise. Hello, Louise.
Hi.
Louise, are you ready to get the 3rd degree?
I'm ready.
All right. Here we go. What anniversary of Fatima is being celebrated this year, Louise?
75th.
You win.
75th anniversary is absolutely correct. And boy, you take home all of the bananas. I'm telling you, you have just won the Legends of Baseball scrapbook from the U.S. Post Office. That's Ruth, Gehrig, Robinson, Clemente, and 110 card set of trading cards. That's the squeaky door over there, friends. Don't pay attention to that. That's left over from Lights Out, I think.
Yeah.
And then a set of eight men out from the Eclipse Pacific cards. And a shoeless Joe Jackson is going to be in that one. You're going to love that one.
Hey,
Now,
Louise,
Josh,
you play ball?
Yeah.
Oh, she does. Well, no wonder. Okay, we'll test your pitching arm. You're going to get a Josh Gibson, an Ebbets Field catalog, a Negro League Baseball museum, and we are going to try to persuade you, Louise, to become a member of the Negro League Museum when you get that brochure, because they are terrific. And you have won the Jackie Robinson First Day Brooklyn Dodgers The first day he was there playing with them on April the 10th, 1947, and a signed card from Leon Day of the Newark Eagles.
Louise, what position do you play?
I can't say that on the radio.
Oh,
Okay.
really? Different kind of game.
Yeah.
Do you have a question for our guests, for Leon Day or Monte Irvin or Todd Bolton or Lee
No,
Sherman?
I'm just so excited.
No, you should be excited. No wonder. All right. Congratulations to you, Louise, and all you other hundreds of people that tried to win. I'm sorry, it wasn't 73 or 50 or 87 or whatever else you get. But that's the way. Congratulations, Louise, and let's go to line 1, please. Line
Hello,
1, please.
Edward.
Hello.
Go right ahead. Do you have a question for someone?
Well, I have for Leon here. Does it recall Bugle Field?
Oh.
Yes, I do.
You recall at the end of the season you had the All-Star game between the ex-Orioles, some of the Orioles, and some of the Major League players like Jimmy Fox, Dizzy Dean, Satchel Paige thrown against Dizzy Dean. Oh, you recall that?
Yes, I remember.
Remember 1-0? Dean would beat him. Then he turned back next week and beat Dean 1-0.
Right,
Is that right?
right.
I got it on target. Now, is it so that Satchel Paige one day called the outfield in and got him out? Is that true?
I heard he did, but I never saw it.
All right.
I heard he did.
Did he say he threw him like peas, a little around the knees, a little over here, a little over there?
Yeah, he said,
He said that too, didn't he?
yeah, he said he was throwing grains of rice.
Well, I pitched on that baseball diamond back in 1937 in a nighttime ball game. I won 7-2.
Whoa.
Pitched?
I was a sinker ball thrower. I could throw that sinker.
Oh, yeah.
But my fastball was too slow. Okay, God bless, Brother Leon.
Oh, thank you for calling, Ed. Well, my heavens, Ed knows a lot about angels.
You know Edward?
Edward's no, you don't know Edward? Well, we know Edward, and he's quite a guy. He actually he knows a great deal about angels. We're very great fans of it. I'm not talking about California Angels or other baseball teams like that, but we're talking about
Heavenly angels.
heavenly angels. Right?
Zahara angels.
Yeah, like my wife over here, every now and then. Okay, I got kind of lost here. There's some other callers coming in there, and we're not going to be able to get to them? No, we're not. All right, well, we got 5 minutes left to go, and we're going to try to cram it full of a bunch of thises and thatses. Let's go back to Leon. You still there, Leon?
Yes, sir.
Leon, you and Monty. What position did Monty play?
Monty played mostly outfield.
Outfield?
He played a little shortstop, too.
Yeah,
Sure.
outfield within the majors. I played infield and outfield
with the Eagles.
in the Negro Leagues for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you two folks, you were how many years apart in age?
Well, 3 or 4.
Just 3 or 4?
No, about 3 years. No, about 2 years.
Yeah,
2
about
years.
About 2 years apart?
Uh-huh.
So that actually you kind of like were either of you mentors of one another, or what?
Either one of us what?
Mentors of one another.
Well, I learned a lot from Leon. Yeah.
What about you, Leon?
I learned a little from him, too.
What'd you learn?
Well, I learned how to throw a little bit, and he's a pretty fast guy to be so big.
Yeah.
I just couldn't beat him running, you know? He was a big guy, too. He could move.
Hey, Monty, when you were a kid, did you think you were going to grow up to be a ball player?
Well, I knew I was going to be a baseball player, but I never think I'd get to the majors. See, we couldn't aspire to play in the majors because it was, it was a closed thing then. And I think that's, what really hurt some of the black youngsters. Today, from day one, you can aspire to be a major league. You can aspire to making, $5 million a year because there are no barriers. Thanks to Jackie Robinson, no barriers.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
In all the sports.
Well, we got a couple of minutes left here, and I wanted to turn the microphones over to Leon, to Monty, Todd, and maybe even Lee if we got enough time to wrap it up this hour, because I know it's time for us to get ready for our third inning. But didn't Satchel Paige only pitch 3 innings at a time? Is that right?
Some games,
Yeah, to draw in the crowd, right? Okay, well, that'll be our third inning, next inning. Leon, what would you like to leave our Baltimore and actually Maryland listeners with tonight?
Well, I want to thank them for giving me a day, and I hope everybody good luck, and that's about it.
Are you going to the opening day at the Memorial New Stadium?
I may go.
You may go?
Yes, I may go.
I hope you go. You may be needed down there for a couple of reasons. All right. Monty, what would you like to leave our Maryland listeners with tonight?
Well, again, in honoring Leon, you honored baseball's, one of baseball's best in any era. And the most remarkable thing about those old players who never got a chance to play is the lack of bitterness. They said, well, that's the way it was. What we've done, we hope we've made a contribution, and we hope we've kind of paved the way for those who come after us. That's a great attitude to have, and most of them have this kind of attitude.
I'll say, when I listened to so many recordings of the players, it's what kept me, literally, I cried. I cried when I heard them because all the abuse they received, and look what happened. Todd.
Well, I just like to congratulate you, Bob, on your endeavors here. This is wonderful, and also congratulate you on bringing two of the greatest Negro League players in history together for this opening show, because you have them right here in Leon Day and Monte Irvin.
Well, thank you very much. Obviously, I've taken advantage of you guys.
I want to know when I get my pitching lesson.
Oh, yeah. I want to know when I get my batting lesson. I want to get back up to 402, Monty. You think you could teach me?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, look, we look forward to having you on again, Monty, especially sometime in April.
Yes.
For the, let's see, the Ben Taylor Memorial Fund.
Yeah.
We'd like you and Todd to stop on by and talk to us the week before that. I know we got to stop here. Friends, we'll be back next hour with Larry Lester in the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum out there in Kansas City, Missouri, right? Right. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Monty. Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Geraldine. And thank you, Baltimore. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Bob.